Hi, my name's Chris Hughes. I want to thank you for joining me today. You know, with the economy being what it is, and I'm watching so many people lose their homes, lose their jobs, crying themselves to sleep at night, completely freaking out about what's going on in the world today. I watched this happen on my left, on my right, and all around me. I thought, you know what, enough's enough. And I'm going to use technology, I'm going to use YouTube, I'm going to use my blog, I'm going to use whatever it is that I have to use to put this information out there to help people to understand that you do not have to live like you're living right now. Yes, things are getting bad. Yes, they're probably going to get worse, but you don't have to be held captive to what's happening in the world today. Let me share my brief story with you. Just a few years ago, I was 27 years old. I was a college dropout. I was waiting tables at Chili's. I was making $200 to $300 a week in tips, living far below the poverty level, living in a nasty cockroach and rat-infested house built in 1927. And I was there. I was crying myself to sleep. I was praying to God for relief. I was freaking out about what am I going to do. But I took a job with this company where my job was to basically I did inside sales, which for a company that sold really season tickets for motivational speakers. That's really what it was. Every 6 weeks, one of these big gurus, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, one of these guys would come into town, and of course our job was to sell tickets to car dealerships, to anybody that had a large sales organization, because of course they're always trying to keep them motivated and pumped up and positive. And I was terrible at inside sales. I was absolutely miserable at that job. But something great happened at that job. One day, the owner of the company, Curtis, takes me out front, and I think, here it is, I'm going to get fired. I'm so terrible at this job. I couldn't sell anything on the inside there with that job. And so he's taking me outside, and I'm just waiting for him to drop the axe on me. You're terrible. You're the worst employee we've ever had. You're fired. But that's not what happened. He actually takes me out front and he says, Chris, I want to begin molding you and teaching you and training you on how to do outside sales. And I kind of took a double take. I said, what do you mean outside sales? I'm terrible at inside sales. I can't do inside sales. I can't do the phone work. What makes you think that I could do, outside sales? And he said, no, Chris, let me tell you something. He says, you've got everything that you need to succeed. And I'll say that to many of you that are watching this right now. You've got everything that you need to succeed. You may not know it, but you do. You've got all that you need, but you have one deficiency. Like I had that one deficiency that Curtis told me about several years ago. And this is what he said. He said, your problem is right here. He was tapping me on the forehead. Your problem is right there. And for many of you, that's what the problem is. And I'm not preaching. This isn't me getting up on my high horse and saying, you got problems. And if you'll just listen to me, I'll solve your problems. That's not the message. The message is that I had problems. I had software issues. I had programming issues several years ago that I've been able to work out over the last several years. And I'm grateful for that. My life has been absolutely amazing. I used to live far below the poverty level. Today, just after a few years, I'm a millionaire now. And I'm recording this in my beautiful home office here in Southern California. Just outside my office, my home office door, is my beautiful wife and my 3 beautiful boys. And we really do have an incredible life. And over the coming days, weeks, and months, I want to share with as many of you who will listen what it is that I did to accomplish success in my life. And I think I'll leave you with this story to contemplate. There was a guy who worked in a factory for 40 years. And one day, after 40 years of devoted service, he comes into work and they let him go. They not only let him go, but they let everybody in the company go. The company had folded. The company went out of business. And so he and a coworker are standing around scratching their head. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We've given our whole life to this company. We've got no retirement. We've got no pension. I've got nothing in the bank. And the point is this. What do you expect? Really, do you expect that the government is going to always take care of you? Do you expect that that large corporation is always going to take care of you? Don't you think that's a little bit naive? Really? Now I'm preaching, but bear with me. Just a little bit naive? You know, our company is borrowing billions and billions and billions of dollars from China. Our country, rather, our country's borrowing billions and billions of dollars from China. Our country's not doing so well. You know, now we've got, in a few months, couple months actually, we've got Obama going into the White House. Well, that's great. And you know what? He's promising a stimulus package, and he's talking about moving the wealth around. And that all sounds good to people who don't have wealth. But here's the reality. He's not going to make you wealthy. He's not going to make your problems go away. And I don't want to get into a political thing here, because I'm very excited that we've come to this place in our American history that we could put Obama in the White House. I think that's absolutely phenomenal. It's called progress. Do I agree with all of his politics? Maybe yes, maybe no. That's not the point. The point is that people are standing around and they're waiting. They're waiting for somebody to solve their problems. They're hoping that a government somebody will make their problems go away. We'll shoot the wolves from the front of the door, and that's not going to happen. But I'll tell you what, if you'll hang out with me for just a little while over the coming days, weeks, and months, I'll lay out a program for you at no charge that will help you accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. You see, what we all need to keep in mind is that during the Great Depression, which they're saying that we're headed toward another Great Depression, and that perhaps it'll be even worse than any depression that our nation has faced in recent years. Depression or recession, I should say. And so that's what's coming. But the reality is that during the Depression, that more millionaires were created during the Depression and shortly thereafter than any other time in American history. And all we hear about is woe is me, and in the bread line and the unemployment line. We hear all those terrible things. But you know what? It's going to be even worse as we go into the next few years. If something radical doesn't happen, it's going to be even worse in the future. Why? Because during the Great Depression, a lot of people were farmers, ranchers, masons, carpenters. You know, they had their own businesses. But that's not the reality today. You know, back then, 5-10% of the United States population had a job. Let's call it 20% had a job. The other 80% or more were self-employed. Well, today, look at the statistics. Today, most people have a job. Very few people are self-employed. It's basically flip-flop from 80% self-employed to 80+% employed. And we're seeing these companies go out of business, downsize, right size, strategically realign, outsource to India, outsource to South America. So if we do indeed go into a depression, it's going to be really, really bad, because we have a lot of people that are depending upon that big company, a lot of people that are depending upon that big government to take care of them. That is not my plan, however. That is not what I'm going to be teaching you over the coming weeks, days, days, weeks, months, and years. What I'm going to be teaching you is how to thrive even in a down economy. And I look forward to that opportunity. I hope you'll join me next time right here on my YouTube channel or on my blog at pd4free.com, as in personal development, the number 4, free.com. Until next time, take care, take charge, and God bless.